They're also looking back at some of the issues historic flooding caused last year.
Yeah, $154 million in damage alone here in Dane County. Here to talk more about rebuilding and preventing those problems from happening again is Dane County Executive Parisi. Thanks so much for waking up early with us this morning. Let's talk about that damage. $150 million, 1,500 homes. I know lots of folks are still dealing with it, especially in the western portion of the county. What are some things that we're working on this year to continue to address that?
Yeah, well, what we saw was a multitude of different scenarios happening. For example, in Mazamani, when the rains came and hit them really hard, and the flooding from the river and the homes there, to what happened in Middleton, and then everything down our chain of lakes. So we have a number of different initiatives that we're implementing to try and adjust to that. Now, one of the challenges is our climate is changing. You know, climate change isn't something in the future anymore. As we've seen, it's been really impacting us. We had almost 1.5 feet of rain in one event, and then followed by, as you know, weeks of rain. So what we're looking at is twofold. We're looking at how do we deal with the system that was built here in the first place. As we look at Dane County, and the center of which is the city of Madison, of course, the entire system was built to take every drop of rain that hits the ground and deliver it as quickly into the lakes and streams as possible. So when we get 15 inches of rain, not only is that hitting the lakes, but all of the rain that hits the developed area is going right into the lakes. And so we're looking at a number of things we can do to try to mitigate that. First of all, the challenges we had with lake levels had a lot to do with our inability to move water through the chain of lakes, because everything that hits in the Lake Mendota side has to go through the chain of lakes. And we've identified a number of pinch points along the way, from bridges that have closed the gap to an area between Lake Monona and Wabisa where the sludge has built up and it's very difficult to move water through. I mean, think of a sink with water pouring into it with a clogged drain that only a drip can come through. So we have literally millions of dollars in the 2019 budget to begin opening up some of those pinch points, be it redesigning bridges to coming in and removing that muck between Monona and Wabisa and all the way down the chain, first of all, to help move water through the chain as quickly as possible.
Wanted to also touch on quickly, if we can here, the Alliant Energy Center campus and just how much energy, time, and potentially money could be going into that. How do you justify the potential investment in that area for people that aren't really sure what's going on and where that money is going?
Right, well, that's the key. What we have to look at, there is a master plan now, but we have to look at each piece of that and see what the return on investment is. And, you know, my estimate is that we'll move forward, but in affordable incremental ways to make sure that any investments there pay for themselves and benefit the entire community.
Because we're talking about hotels, we're talking about parks, we're talking about, there's a lot of different elements here. What are you most excited about seeing?
Yeah, well, it's nothing that's going to happen overnight, so I think people need to, this is a long-range plan. But the more we can make that a destination, you know, the photo was just up of the Coliseum. We can bring in more shows, make it more of a destination, a focal point of the community. We also have shows that are growing there that are running out of space, and we need that space. But again, we have to put it in context of all the other needs of the community, too.
Certainly a busy year ahead there for you. All right, Parisi, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
It's always good to see you. All right, it has been a pretty strange stretch here, sporting the rain jacket and rain boots in early January. Well, Chris Reese is going to be in to talk about why we are starting off 2019 with these warmer temperatures and why we will